Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy SoSo, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys for joining us as always. Make sure to hit that like, comment, and subscribe button, and tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. This week, Joel and I are celebrating the Panthers' first Stanley Cup championship. Woo! And we're also talking about what went down at BKFC 62 last week. It's time to take a ride, y'all. Let's go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, congratulations, champion.
Sir, congratulations. You're a champion.
Hey.
Stanley Cup winner.
That's us, man. That's us.
I
South
feel like
Florida. Absolutely. Number one, you're decked out.
I mean,
you're
I had
literally
to.
matching head to toe, dog.
For the Panthers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got this sweet shirt for my birthday from my cousin and Roddy. Shout out to them.
Shout out to Rod,
And then,
for sure.
I mean, you know, the hat.
Yeah.
Gotta represent, dog.
Absolutely.
We're champs, bro. This is South Florida's a hockey town. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh, I knew that. And now everybody knows that, right? And we also want to take this time to thank you guys for joining us. Like we always say, hit that like, comment, subscribe button, let us know what you guys are thinking. But yeah, bro, I'm sure you guys feel like we do, right? We're decked out in championship gear, right? Because obviously we're riding the train of the Panthers, but they earned it. And everybody thought that it was going to be like, you know, a devastating type historic loss, you know.
For a moment there, it looked a little grim.
Yes, dog, it did. Absolutely. But I felt like the Panthers also got a couple of bad breaks, right? Like throughout the game 4 and game 5, there were a couple of things that just didn't go our way, right? As far as maybe some calls, players missing their shifts and slipping defensively. But they were able to kind of withstand that and still put on a good effort, especially in game 6, right? They almost came back in game 6 and had a chance to tie up the game.
I think it was game 5.
Yes, game 5.
Game 5 was the one where we were a little bit more in it. Games 4 and 6 in Edmonton were just...
They just got away from us.
But you know why, though? Because
Tell me.
we got away from ourselves, dog. Just to get a little philosophical on the people real quick, dog. Nah, but seriously, like, we just weren't... Like, they all said it. They all said it after they won and they were being interviewed and all that. Like, they got back to fundamental defense, bro.
Yeah.
They made sure to slap a guy in the mouth, let them know that you were on them. If nothing was going to be easy. They weren't going to give anything away.
Right.
And they helped Big Bob out, man, because those games where these guys scored eight goals in one game, 5 in another, and then 5 in another. That's 18 goals in 3 games. Like, that was
crazy.
Unheard of. And everybody was already pointing the finger at Big Bob. And it's like, guys, look at a lot of these goals. You know what I mean? Like
breakaways, short-handed goals, you know, things that the Panthers usually don't give up, which is why it kind of probably made everybody nervous, right? When we were heading into game 7, people were wondering, like, fuck, is this the same type of thing that's going to happen where we kind of collapse because the defense collapsed around them? And for me, and I tweeted about it, you know, follow me on X, Sports with SoSo. What my main emphasis for this game 7 was go out there and hustle.
Yep.
Go out there and play hard, right? Like, you know, like, obviously everybody's back is against the wall, but all the cliches, throw them out. Do what you know you have to do, which is out-hustle the next man.
Yep.
You know,
Some lighting issues here we got to work with.
Besides that, you know, like, the fact that we can point to the defense being the difference maker in this game 7 shows you that the Panthers were ready to play game 7 and focused on doing well game 7. And we saw it manifest itself in that first goal, right? Carter Verhaeghe comes out hot.
What a goal. Shoots
an amazing shot, dog, right? And beats Skinner, who had been playing really well, dog. Stopped a lot of shots, dog. He's made a bunch of saves, you know what I mean? We can't disregard that fact.
No, but that goal, though, was, I believe, who set him up? Was it Rodriguez that hit it at him?
Kachuk.
Kachuk.
Well, Rodriguez made the first pass, right? So he got the hockey assist to Kachuk, and then Kachuk found Verhaeghe.
Wasn't he shooting it at the goal, and then Verhaeghe just kind of caught it out of the air with his stick and deflected it back in? Like, I was like, oh my God. And they were talking about Verhaeghe being absent the whole series because he wasn't really doing what he'd been doing in the postseason.
Yes.
So it was a perfect way to start the game and set the tone. And everybody was saying, if you've been following this team,
right,
we got to start with the lead. We can't be, even though we have been historically a comeback team, the Cardiac Cats. we've seen that we do much better when we're getting that first goal.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, we could do it, but doing it in the finals to close out is something much, much, much harder, right?
Yeah.
Than
You don't want to
season
be in that
game,
situation.
Than a first round series game, second round series game, because I feel like in those situations you could always, kind of make that happen, right? But when it's for the fucking Stanley Cup final, bro, it's harder to do that in the closeout game, right? And we saw the Panthers kind of struggle with that. But in Game 7, they were able to take hold of that momentum and use it to their benefit, right? Carter Verhaeghe gets the goal. Everybody's excited, and the building just erupts, right? Like, the energy in the crowd was massive, dog. Even when Edmonton tied the game up, right? Because it took them a while to get going, right? But Edmonton, we knew they were going to come out swinging, obviously, right? And go down swinging if needed be. But they were able to tie the game in the first period.
4 minutes after we had scored ours.
Correct.
Which is like, shit. All right, now we're back to square one.
But we still had the momentum on our side because we were getting the better looks and we were out shooting them in that first period.
Yeah.
So obviously the offensive side was on us.
The way they got that goal was reminiscent of every mistake that we kept making. Like, we had a kind of a lapse in judgment in that one moment. Mm-hmm. What happened, realistically, honestly, they had a hell of a pass.
Yeah, it was a great pass.
Got them all the way across the ice. They weren't offside, and then they were able to just get one-on-one against Big Bob, and we've seen that's kind of a weakness.
It's harder to make those saves.
It is, but, especially stick hand, which is where these guys are going. Bro. And I don't know hockey. I'm sure this is all basic stuff, but it's shit that I've noticed watching. It's like, every single time they're going left side and then up left, you know what I mean? Like, away from his glove hand.
You got to bring the goalie down and then try to shoot up.
So it's like, you can't leave him on an island. We got to do a better job and not put him in those situations. And then we tightened up after that.
Yeah, we did. But it's like you said, it came off a bad pass, which is a turnover, which led them to having the opportunity to one of their major playmakers to find another guy streaking down the ice. That's the way that you beat teams when you're an offensive juggernaut, right? You take those small little mistakes and you make the team pay for it. But the Panthers withstood that, right? They battled, played well the rest of the first period. Good shots on goal, good defensive efforts, and we're able to close out that first period.
Yep.
The game was so close in the second period, right, that when the goal happened, right, and I'm going to mention who made the goal right now if you don't know already, right? When Sam Reinhart showed up and said, this is how we're going to win the Stanley Cup, everything that we have seen from him in the regular season, as far as being in the right spot, beating players, beating goalies, being smart with the amount of shots that he's taking, where he's taking them, where he's placing them, the power that he uses, Sam Reinhart was able to execute that perfectly throughout the season. 67 goals, nothing to sneeze at, right? And then he jumps into the playoffs and he's still hot, right? Contributing 2-3 goals per series. And then he kind of disappeared here in the finals. And I had tweeted it in Game 4, or Game 5. I was like, yo, Sam Reinhart is due. It took a little bit, right? But he came true, dog. And you could tell that, it took the momentum back, right? But it took even bigger amount of relief off his shoulders, right? Because he's like, all right, now I know I'm really contributing to the team. It's not just shots on goal. I'm back to doing what I do, which is score goals for this team, right? And his goal ultimately became the deciding factor.
Yeah, but it's crazy. He scored what would be the game-winning goal.
Yeah. And you know what? If you think about how the game was going, Joel, it kind of felt like that, right? Where, like, whoever gets the next goal is going to be able to play with the lead, hold on to it, play good defense, throw out more defensive lineups out there, and focus on keeping the game like that, right? And so you need to focus on playing 6-on-5, right, when they pull a goalie. But the rest of the period was like that in the second period. Nothing else happened, right? It was a bunch of shots on both sides, but more importantly, the level of defense that was being played was amazing, dog. We're talking about dudes diving, scrums in front of the goals, people diving to tip the puck into the neutral zone, and even killing power plays. The Panthers did a great job of killing power plays this game against the Oilers.
And not just killing power plays, bro, but stopping Connor McDavid dead in his tracks, dog.
Bro.
That was the biggest thing, bro. That's how they got back in it, was McDavid balling on us, bro, getting past three of our defensemen. And then just either doing the backdoor pass like he did in Game 5 or 6, or just scoring himself, doing whatever he wants. Like, that guy is unreal what he can do. So we neutralized him as best we could. He didn't do shit in Game 7.
Nothing. nothing. And it was good to see that because a lot of hype had been given to him, rightly so. And I think that the Panthers started to finally take that personal and be like, yo, fuck that, man. We're doing such a great job of holding this guy down, of doing a good job defensively as a unit to limit the amount of things that he's getting on the ice. And for them to like still not recognize that, the Panthers took that personally, I'm sure, on the defensive side, and they were able to show why they're such a good defensive unit. And you told me as we were texting back and forth, defense wins championships, and the Panthers played way better defense than they did, straight up. That third period was a massive change in Panthers history, because to close out a championship game, Game 7, on your home ice against the best offense in the NHL, both in the regular season and in the postseason, and go out there and close them out after facing everything they got in the third period, shows you how resilient this team is and how resilient this organization is at this level.
Dog, I mean, this is what this team was built for, bro.
Straight up.
This was the expectation, and it just came to fruition. Like, it's super dope so for us, at least for me, bro, because, like, I wasn't, a Panthers hockey fan until we started doing this podcast, dog, and this show.
True, very true.
I was, like, to the extent of, like, if they were going to do well, I was going to follow them. You know what I mean?
Their home team status.
But even still, like, it wasn't, like, something that I was fully involved in or knew,
Right.
like, what was going on. And, you know what I mean? We got invested doing this, you know what I mean? When we started,
sure.
like, you know what? We're not just going to do our Dolphins, our Marlins. We root on the Marlins, and we still back them up. And what do they do for us?
Nothing.
And yeah, you got Bill Zito and Sunrise making moves, dog, for the last 5 to 10 years. Like, I would say 10 years, because Barkov, we drafted in 2014. You know what I mean? Like, this is 10 years in the making for him. A lot of these guys that I was looking at in the slides, bro, vets, guys that have been in the league, guys that are locker room guys that, have grinded, have fought, have persevered long careers.
That were here from day one.
A lot of guys that have been here from day one, guys that haven't been, but just been around the league and have meshed with our guys because they understood what the task was at hand, bro.
Crazy.
And to see it all come together from, 2-3 years ago when we won the President's Cup and then got bounced. And then last year when we make it all the way to the final, and it's like, God, we were so close, but we just didn't have it then. To now this year, finally, even with adversity staring us right in the face, you just gave up a three-game lead, in the final. And now you got to go back home to seal the deal. And to do that, bro, like, bro, you saw Bill Zito crying?
Crazy.
Hilarious.
Bro,
Hilarious.
Of course that guy's going to cry, because he's really put all of himself into this team. He's made hard-ass decisions, hard-ass trades, right? Cuts, signings, things that weren't necessarily quote-unquote popular with everybody, right? Some people understood, some people didn't, but he knew the vision that he had for this team and what could be accomplished with this unit. We also have to mention, the legend of Paul Maurice, right? Because this is a dude who's been around the NHL forever, hardcore Winnipeg guy, right? Comes down here on a whim's notice because Bill Zito's fucking knocking his phone, his door down.
Story. He was fishing.
He's blowing him up on the phone.
On a fishing trip, Bill Zito's calling him like, hey, man, I want you to at least entertain.
Pick up the phone, dog, or I'm going to pull up on you, dog. That's what he told him. And he called him back, and Paul Maurice said yes to the job. In a tumultuous time for the Panthers. Come in here while
who's our previous
I can't even remember right now. You got to look him up.
I got you.
You know what I mean?
He was a great coach. I mean, he was doing
obviously successful, right? But again, dog, when we brought in Paul Maurice, right, it was like, yo, come in, right? We're hot right now. We got all this heat on us. We have a very talented team, right, that we expect to win. Come in and win and keep this thing rolling and do it your way. And Paul Maurice said, all right, I got you. Came in, set the defensive tone, set the defensive standard, and really got to the point where the Panthers took on a new identity under him, right? And still were an offensive juggernaut because we've seen them score a bunch of goals, but their identity became defense. And when it became defense, that's when it really changed things for this franchise. You know, we saw it in the back-to-back years. 2 back-to-back runs to the Stanley Cup Finals.
No, we saw that offense, though. Like, how many goals did you just say Sam Reinhart had this year?
67, dog.
How many did Verhage have this year?
Easily.
How many did Kachuk have this year? Like,
easily 25.
We still, like, we still had to put up offense, you know what I mean? But fundamentally, it was our defense, dog. What Barkov does, like, I appreciate the commentators talking about how underrated he is and how underappreciated that guy is, because what that guy does, bro, and how many times he impacted the game every single time he was on the ice, how many power plays that guy helps kill. It's unreal.
Yeah, and gets the offense going from his defense, right? Where he has the ability to push up the ice or make a key pass, right? And find somebody who's in a good position. Yeah, dog, this team really has it all, dog. One last thing on Paul Maurice, I saw something cool that he had mentioned, right? They were doing a post-game interview, obviously, and he's on the ice. And, he said, a lot of people have stuck with me over these past 30 years while I've been attempting to win this, my parents, and he shouted out his dad specifically. He's like, Dad, your name is going to be up there with the legends that you used to look up to, and he mentioned Gordie Howe and like a couple of other players that are obviously hockey lore, untouchables, right?
Sure.
And he's like, now your last name is going to be with those legends. Maurice is going to be up there. And I was like, yo, this is how you know how much it means to him.
I mean, you see it when he was about to get interviewed. I don't know if you watched all the ending and all that, but he was about to get interviewed. And literally they're about to, pass him the mic, and they like come up to him and like, hey, coach, like it's your turn now to hoist it, throw it up in the air. And like the moment he took, you know what I mean? And like before he actually did, he sat there and he really like closed his eyes and like you could tell
he talked to it, dog.
Yeah.
He talked to the cup, dog. Now we don't know what he said, right? But again, imagine what he's feeling in expressing that emotion to a trophy, essentially, right? But like something that's
it was dope, man. It was dope. And to see these guys celebrating has been awesome. I don't know if you saw. Amazing. I'm sure you saw the video of these guys at the beach.
Come on, they got to do it Miami
at
style.
Fort Lauderdale style.
Yeah, no Miami. It ain't Miami, dog. It's definitely Fort Lauderdale, but it's South Florida, right?
Sure.
It's what we do here. We win championships, and now we're one of the 9 major cities in America that has a major championship in football, basketball, baseball, and now hockey. Who would have thought that Miami, like South Florida, would be up there?
Crazy, son.
As far as like championship, because technically the Panthers kind of belong to Dade County, dog. We share them with Broward. Yeah, they're up there, but
they used to play at the Miami Arena.
They used to play at the Miami Arena, so we got ties.
Of course.
But it's crazy to see that they've reached that level in such a short amount of time since Bill Zito has got there, right? And what the owner and him have done here as an establishment, as a franchise, as a competitive team, has all come to fruition through this championship, and that's something that's gonna really stick with this team and really project them forward.
Well, so that was gonna be my question to you, dog, is I don't know if you have any kind of insight as to what the future holds now, because it kind of seems like this team, like this was the goal of this team, and I don't know if this is gonna be the same team we're gonna have next year or for the years to come.
Well, if we look at Bill Zito's history, right? Bill Zito's history has been, I'm always looking to improve the team now and in the next 2 years. Whether that means I draft a rookie with high potential and I move up to get him, whether that means I go out there and get a free agent, I go out there and sign a big free agent, I go out there and trade for somebody. He's always looking to improve the team. So there's no doubt in my mind that he's going to do the same right now with this championship level team. Because a lot of the pieces that are going to be here are being taken care of already. And yeah, they may have high salaries that can hurt their cap potentially, but they still have enough room where they can make moves, right? And I really feel like if Bill Zito has to add one thing, it's another goalie, right? We have to solidify that backup spot to Big Bob because he's not going to be able to play at that high level for that long. You know what I mean? And he's one of those high earners on the team. So if we're talking about like a running back or something like that in terms of football or a fourth batter in terms of baseball, those are guys that you can't necessarily stick with for too long. So you kind of have to find him a replacement to keep him fresh throughout the regular season and keep him ready for the playoffs.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right?
He played a lot, man.
He played a lot of games, Joel. He played a lot of games,
great
right?
too, though. He played fantastic. He
Yes.
played a lot better than a couple years ago.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. We need somebody there that he can have the confidence, like a good backup. You know, you got to have a backup you can have some confidence in.
Yeah, and I think that's an area that we're looking at, right? Another thing that I would look at would be to continue to shore up the defense, right? Because offensively, we have the guys in place. The only guy who's really a question mark is Sam Reinhart, and whether or not we're going to be able to sign him, how much is he looking for, XYZ. But if you're talking about what Sam Reinhart has experienced here as a Panther, he's come in from whatever team to being to a consistent threat, to being one of the better players in the league, to really developing under the coaching here, and really getting along with the players and molding that style of play. Could he be tempted by bigger cash somewhere else? Absolutely, dog. These guys are, number one, they're professional athletes, right? They're trying to take care of themselves and their families and really create, long-term success for themselves. And I think they also have to look for the right fit. We have one of those boxes checked, right? For sure, in a big red marker, right? The second one would be the one in question. Let's see.
I'm looking here. Shout out to the HockeyWriters.com. We got Matthew Tkachuk and Barkov until 29-30. So 2029, 2030.
Foundation,
so we got 6 years with these guys.
Foundation.
Easily. And then we have Anton Lundell, who's only 23. Young guy. We just drafted him not too long ago.
And he made big plays this year.
Spencer Knight is coming back next season from the player assistance program. So that's like kind of the big Bob backup. We've seen him play already. We know what he can do. Hopefully he can we can return to a high level of play. So, I mean, all signs are pointing to, the future being bright. That's kind of what this article is alluding to here. So, I hope so, man. I hope that we can make a run here. Dynasty would be some dope shit, man. Hockey Dynasty in fucking South Florida, a place that doesn't snow. Well, how sick would that be?
That's amazing, number one. But if, again, back looking at those 5 years, right, that we've seen this growth in the Panthers, if we're looking at the growth, there's one thing that we've established about the Panthers. They're a playoff level team every year, right? Where the bottom line that we're expecting from the Panthers is make the playoffs. You may not be the number one seed, but you're gonna be in the playoffs, right?
Now it's like not even that. We have to be contenders.
There's only one other team in South Florida that is held to that same standard.
The Heat.
That's the Heat, and that's an important franchise that's already won 3 championships. So yeah, Panthers just got there first. So that's the level that they're
20 years.
Yeah. That's the level that they're at. They're at the level where, all right, every year it's playoffs, no matter what, right? If they can continue that, then it's success in the playoffs. Maybe not reach the Stanley Cup final every year. If the team is that good enough and on fire, that's the goal. But if it's not and we kind of know it, then all right, just make a good run and see where that goes. But the bottom line is clear now for the Panthers.
Yep, absolutely.
It's playoffs or bust, you know? No matter what. That's so awesome, bro. And bro, I'm not gonna be here for the parade.
I'm happy. I'll be here. I'm gonna try to go out there.
Try to get out there. I know a couple other boys are going out there too, right?
Everybody's talking about it, man. We're excited.
Yeah,
I mean, bro, it's a championship, bro.
We're there.
I mean? Like, you got to go out there and support and celebrate, man. This doesn't happen for everybody.
It's a first. It's a first, dog. I remember going to the first Miami Heat championship rally, dog.
Me too.
You know what I mean? And I got a terrible memory, dog. So
I do too, and I remember that.
For that shit to stick, it meant something, right?
There were so many people out there, bro.
It meant
downtown.
something, dog. It meant something. And this championship means something to South Florida, more importantly to the Panthers. Congratulations to them and all their players, staff, organization, from the top, from the owner.
Hey.
All the way down to the guys who work in the parking lot, dog.
And congratulations to us, sir.
Absolutely, dog, for sticking with the Panthers,
bro,
baby.
I mean, what a time. What a time to get into sports podcast and content, you know?
Oh, yeah, right?
Hell of a time.
We've
seen it, bro. Like we've seen it
over
the last 4 years. It's been an amazing ride. I can't wait to see where it goes next.
Crazy.
You know what? I can't wait to see where it goes next.
Where else?
Is BKFC, dog, because they're getting too big for the Hard Rock. Let me tell you about that.
Yeah, big time. The fact that they had to sneak people in. Don't tell David Feldman that we said that.
What a card.
But there was a reason for it, right? There was 3 championship belts on the line. A lot of homegrown fighters, a lot of fighters from Florida, so it wasn't just like Miami-Dade fighters. It was dudes from Broward, dudes from, Pahokee, like dudes from all over, and Daytona, like all over Florida, right? Which is, to me, dope, because that leads to what David Feldman was saying, which is the homegrown talent, right? You're getting guys that are coming from these states, not necessarily coming from all the big name organizations to come in here and try to take over BKFC. Let's talk about the first championship fight, man, between Keith Richardson and Alberto Blas. What an amazing fight. What a great performance by Alberto Blas, dog.
Hilarious finish.
A hilarious finish. Becomes the featherweight championship of BKFC in front of his home crowd. Cuban guy coming from over there as a jiu-jitsu guy and really learning the skill and art of boxing, and then translating that into the skill of BKFC, which you and I both know that is very different, right?
Yeah.
From regular boxing.
He's fast.
Yeah, bro. This dude is really fast, and he put a punishment on Keith Richardson, dog. So much so that Keith Richardson was kind of like out of it for a second and started attacking the referee, dog, which he thought was his opponent.
Bro, it was so funny, bro. It was
crazy to see.
It was such like a viral clip. If we got to find that, I don't know if we have that clip, but
it's on Twitter for sure.
It's so funny because it happened, and he even funnier. Credit to him. Credit to Keith. Post-fight conference, he mentioned it. You know what I mean? He was
what
like,
a legend.
"What did he say?" He's like, who do you like? Hopefully my next fight's against the referee or something like that.
Yeah.
So he was a good sport about it, but it was a funny fight. But man, this kid Blas, man.
He's
a problem, bro. He's got it. He's quick. He's got a good personality, like good in front of the camera and stuff like that. And he's a showman, bro. He puts on a good show.
Yeah, and he's a guy who sells out, right? He sells out a good amount of tickets. You could tell that he had a good amount of support there. And he's with a good crew and a good training camp, dog. So it was no surprise, right, to see him come out the victor. It was no surprise to see him come out the victor. You and I both thought that fight was going to go a little bit longer just because we know how tough Keith is. But that's how much credit we got to give to Alberto, man. He really proved why he's the champ.
Yeah, bro.
Really proved why he's the champ. And he has a lot of guys that he's got to face now, right? We saw Justin. Shout out to our boy Justin out there, Joy Boy, who put on a hell of a performance. First round KO. Wanya Reed put up a great fight. Who else? Oh, my God. Edgar.
Justin.
Christy.
Edgar.
Christy looked good that night. She really put on a hell of a performance that night.
Perdomo.
Yeah, dude. All these dudes were showing out, man.
One of the craziest fight was a prelim. That's why I say top to bottom. The card was crazy because the Cedeno and Zuckerman fight, which we got an interview with Zuckerman.
Yeah.
After that kid took a beating. That first round, we thought he was done for.
What a war,
bro! He took a beating that first round, and we were like, no chance. There's no chance he's gonna be able. And he extended that fight, not one but two more rounds.
Wow!
And got the knockout, bro. He ended up, bro.
And you know what?
What a crazy
it's not like it was a crazy lucky punch. He was landing those left hands on Buddy, dog. And the fact that he was able to withstand that punishment, able to get up after being knocked down a couple of times, just showed how much heart. And he deserved badass of the night, dog. David Feldman gave him that bonus of the night, bro, in the post fight.
Took a pounding and he got the job done, man.
Hell yeah.
Justin put on a hell of a show too.
Yeah, bro.
That's what you talk about, a guy that has what it takes to become a superstar in the sport, and that's Justin, bro.
Yeah, hell yeah.
He's got it all. He understands the business. He's been around long enough, and more importantly, kid knows how to fight, dog.
Nah, he puts on a show, dog. He puts on a show because every time he fights, from top to bottom, right? Entrance, music, promotion, he does it all, dog. He does it all, and you're right. He's one of those dudes that has that potential. Shout out to all those guys that were victorious and all those guys that stepped into the ring that night. Either way, dog, because that shit is not easy.
No joke.
It's a tough sport. You got to have a lot of heart, a lot of skill, and a lot of will, to withstand that punishment and get up and do it again over and over and over. So shout out to all those guys, man. Let's talk about a little bit about the second championship fight between Jared Deadpool Warren and Yomi the Archangel Escoboza. Jared went out there and put on a hell of a fucking performance with a boxing clinic, because he really outboxed Yomi in that fight.
He did.
Dropped him a couple of times, caught him, in really good spots where he was quick, boom, boom, boom. Good combination, and then next thing you know, Yomi's down or staggering or some shit like that. But Yomi showed the fucking heart of a lion, dog.
He did.
Finished the entire fight went the distance.
Took a
beating, got back up every single time he got knocked down in that fight, and kept coming forward, dog, kept throwing punches, and really gave Jared a hard fight. You know, we saw Jared in the post-fight press conference. You could tell that he took some damage in that fight.
He did.
And he gave a lot of credit to Yomi, too, for being able to get back up.
No, he definitely is a tough opponent, man. Yomi's nothing to, sneeze at. But I don't know. I'd be curious to see what he would say as to what happened, on his end for his game plan and whatnot, because I don't know. If I had to say, it looked like Warren was just way more prepared for the fight.
Yeah, Jared Warren looked in amazing shape, and he was well conditioned, because even in the 5th round, right, he was still throwing combinations, still moving quickly like he was in the first and second round. So you could tell that he was prepared, and ultimately he deserved the championship belt, and he deserved the victory in the way that he got it, unanimous decision, right? And it was clear that Jared Warren was the better man. Now 2-0 on Yomi, right? So that talk is done. We'll see what comes out of Yomi's camp now, right, and how he gets back into it.
Yep.
And what's next for Jared too, right? Because Lorenzo Hunt's coming back from an injury. He vacated that belt. I'm hoping that they can put a fight together in the future. Maybe not in September, which is going to be the next one down here, I think, in the Hard Rock. But definitely before the year ends, right? And solidify who's the light heavyweight champ.
Yeah,
right?
That guy has a bright future.
Yeah, man. Let's talk about the main event of the evening.
That was fireworks, man.
How crazy was that fight between Brian El Gallo Duran and King Kai Stewart? Hefty bag.
Even crazier knowing that Brian got hurt in the first round,
yeah,
and still was able to withstand what Kai threw at him and all that. But Kai, man, that kid is impressive, bro. That kid is, how many times have you defended his belt now?
That's 4 times in a row.
Bro, you got to put respect on somebody's name when you do that. You know what I mean? No
time.
matter what happens, albeit,
and
you got to put respect on the kid's name. He came in here in hostile territory, bro, and he stood on business.
If you look at his record, dog, you're gonna see why he's defending the belt as many times as he has, and the type of level of fighter this dude is fighting, right? Because it's not like he's fighting, last minute replacement, a guy who's just, starting in BKFC, maybe 3-0 or 1-0 in BKFC. Nah, dog, this guy's fighting people who are either the best boxer in the division, the best KO rate in the division, the toughest guy in the division. Like, he's faced them all and beat them all, right? Beat them all single-handed, without a doubt, right? Not only was like, coño, that was a close-ass fight. No, dominated performance from King Kai. And this kid has a legit claim to that division, owning it. There's no more doubting about it. But also being one of the faces of BKFC because of the fact that he goes into other people's backyard. When he and I did the pre-fight interview, right? Again, shout out to King Kai, man. You could tell when we finished recording, we were still talking a little bit, and you could tell that he really is focused on treating this as a sport and as a business. When it's time to go and it's time to train, he's treating it as a sport. He's going all in on his training, all in on his recovery, all in on all of that, right? And then when it comes to promoting the side of the business, he's willing to talk to people. He's willing to put on a good show. He shows up well-dressed. He talks well, educated. You can tell that he takes this belt serious, and he knows that it's an opportunity for him to be a superstar, right? And we saw Conor McGregor, one of the big faces in BKFC, shot him out multiple times and really get impressed by that performance against El Gallo.
Nah, it was, bro. It was super impressive. He did exactly that. You would think that somebody like that would be, not used to the lights, especially that many people, bro. That was a sellout crowd, dog. The Hard Rock, bro. You know what I mean? So it's easy to say, to crumble, but nah, he came in here, bro, and that guy went to work.
Yeah, and especially in somebody else's backyard, dog. That's never easy, right? Especially when the guy that you're fighting in his backyard is such a dangerous opponent like Gallo is.
Yeah.
6-0, 6 knockouts.
I would love a rematch, dog.
Me too.
Honestly,
I would love to see that fight again.
Honest.
I would pay to see that fight again. I
don't know how long it's going to take this kid to recover.
We don't know
that, but that would be at some point we got to see that fight again.
Yeah, because both of those guys showed the heart of a warrior in that fight, right, by being able to go the distance. And also, King Kai showed that he can box.
Yeah.
He's learning how to box, and every fight that he gets in, he's getting better and better at boxing. So He's going to be a problem. And yeah, it would be an amazing fight to see it again.
Four
An
title
amazing
defenses
fight to see it
is
again.
crazy.
Dog. Yeah. And BKFC is on the rise, dog. I don't know if you saw this today, but BKFC announced that they're now trading on the on the stock exchange and stuff like that. You can go and buy some stock in those guys. I would advise it because they're definitely blowing up. And we see the growth in the company, right? We see the growth in the company. We see the growth in the skilled fighters that they're putting on, the growth in the promotions that they're putting together, the growth in the cards that they're putting together, right? They're almost at that level where you can kind of look at it as UFC does, right? Where every card that you're watching, yeah, maybe it's not belts on the line, but there are at least 3 good fights that you're like, if you know about that sport, you know that it's a good fight.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And they're reaching that level for sure. They're reaching that level for sure.
They're staying consistent, bro. Look, they got a card in July, 1 in August, 3 in August. No, look at that, 4 in August. And one of them is prospects.
Yeah, that's crazy. I love seeing
So
the
that's
prospects.
probably like open mic for fighters.
Yeah, for sure. And let me tell you,
I would love to see that, bro, just to see how unorthodox and inexperienced people are.
that Hart versus Starling card is gonna be amazing because both of those girls are gonna go out there and put on a hell of a show.
Saturday, August 3rd in South Dakota.
Bro. Yeah, bro. It's gonna be a freaking war for that belt, dog, and it's gonna be a lot of fireworks, dog. It's gonna be a lot of
Let's
fireworks.
see, do I recognize anybody else on the other cards? On the card, I should say.
I can't see from that far, but probably. Yeah. I'll look later. But yeah, that main event, I'm super excited,
big
dog.
dudes, bro. It looks like a lot of heavyweight dudes.
A lot of heavyweights
in
on
this.
that card. And I'm also excited because that's going to be one of the first main events that's headlined by women only in BKFC. So I'm going to get a chance to sit down and talk with both of them and see how they're feeling before this championship fight.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure you guys tune in for that one, man.
Exciting stuff, dog. BKFC is on the
Yeah,
rise,
bro.
bro. 62. I was looking at the badges today that we got, and one of them was 26,
Look at that, dog.
which was only like a year or two ago.
That's crazy.
I got to look back and see what the oldest one is, but
We're deep in the game.
I mean, we've been doing
We're
it now
deep in the game.
for a
We're
little
deep in
bit.
the
It's been
BKFC.
getting
We're
more and more
deep in
fun.
the
Shout
BKFC.
out to the BKFC, Dave Feldman, and everybody over there.
Shout out to Bernie.
lets us
Shout
do
out to
everything
Nelson. We're going to sit down with Nelson soon.
that we like to do.
Yeah, man, we're going to sit down with Nelson soon, and that's going to be cool, bro, which is just one of those small interviews that we're lining up for you guys, man. We got a lot of exciting things coming here on Sports with SoSo. Like we told you guys before, we're really trying to transition on what this channel provides you guys, not only throughout the podcast, but the type of interviews and people we can talk to kind of bring to you and kind of give you a different view on sports while still giving you sports, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be dope, man. It's going to be dope. Bro, you know, I wanted to mention to you, man, you know, we got the Dolphins season coming up. We're less than 40 days to training camp. Obviously we got a lot of work to do for OnlyFans. We got a ton of stuff prepared for you guys. I can't wait to share. But I wanted to get your take. You know, we signed everybody. Chop is officially in. If you had to put a temperament on your feelings right now towards the Dolphins, what would that temperament be?
Oh, man. Right now,
Yeah.
I'm kind of in cruise control right now, you know, because of the fact that we haven't started, you know, officially the season and all that. There's still, you know, little things like Tua and his extension and what's going to happen there, and those talks are kind of happening. That's kind of like the focus right now around the Dolphins. So I'm kind of just in cruise control. You know, I don't really care what happens there. They'll figure that shit out. That's above me. You know, from what I'm hearing, the Dolphins have offered him a number, and it's not where other quarterbacks have been, and that's where Tua's setting his benchmark at. So I don't know what's going to happen there, but you got to be excited, dog. It's the dog days of summer. We got the Olympics coming up. We only have one more major in golf. Football's right there. Like, you can almost taste it. So, you know, I'm starting to, turn up a little bit.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel like, for me, the temperament is, not an anxious one, but it's a speculative one because I'm thinking about how can the Dolphins turn these past 2 seasons into some type of real success. Because I feel like all the cards are stacked against them right now. You got other franchises doing well, other franchises making moves. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot at stake, you know, when it comes to the viewership and the fandom down here. And there is a bar set, right? They have to get a playoff win. How do you get a playoff win? Well, you got to kind of guarantee yourself a home playoff game, right? In the first round. Best way to do that is to go out there and win the division. Last year, we had it. We had the division in our hand, and it slipped away from us. So I feel like in order for us to break that mold, we really have to do something that's unprecedented. right now because we just haven't been able to do
but
it.
we got to do it. I mean, when you say we got to do it, it's this team. Like, it's these guys.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
we
right
have
now.
the team,
It's right
bro.
now. It's right now.
You know
Joel,
what I mean?
It's right now.
And as bad as it sounds, like, it's not even like Super Bowl. Like, that's not the expectation for this team. Like, yes, it is, obviously. Like, we expect the team to do well and win a Super Bowl. That's what that's not the expectation. That's a hope.
Right.
You know, we hope we can have a chance to play for a title. Let's just say that.
The expectation
just a
is
chance
to
to
win
play
the
for
playoff,
it.
win
And
the
if
playoff
you
game.
know, and if we earn it, and it's sweet and it's awesome. But right now, for this team, bro, this Dolphins team that hasn't seen a playoff win in 30 years, basically.
Yeah, it's due.
It's like we need to be able to say, all right, you know, we have gone deep in the playoffs. We can't say that. We've never done that. We've made it to the playoffs, you know. Yeah, have you made it to the playoffs in the last 20 years? Yeah, we made it there.
Yeah, but
one
that's not
time.
enough.
All right.
That's
two
not
times.
enough.
All right. What have you done? Nothing.
That's
Bounced.
not enough. If you're thinking about it,
We got bounced.
If you think about it in the sense of like comparing them to other franchises down here, the Heat are getting to the first, second round, third round, right? We saw the Panthers repeatedly pass the first round. We haven't been able to see that from the Dolphins.
No, man. And it sucks, you know, those sports are series, so it's like, you know, like it's like, all right, you play multiple
matter.
games and all that. This is a one game do or that, but it doesn't matter. You have the team.
Win.
You should be able to. That's football. That's how it's cut. You got to be able to win in those do or die situations, man.
Yeah.
And we think that we have the right team to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And you guys want the big bucks? Well, we need you to play like you got it. Like, bro, Tua, the biggest disservice he did was not play well in that playoff game. That kid goes out and balls in that playoff game, and a couple things go his way, you know, and the Dolphins' way, and we end up winning at least that game. Maybe we don't win it all, but we win that. I think his contract negotiations go a little bit smoother. Like, if people are like, hey, bro, he got us our first playoff win in 30 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we talking about?
Here's a
All
little
right,
check,
cool.
Papa.
But the fact that, like, all we have to hang our hat on is like, yeah,
Yeah.
we made it to the playoffs, but what have we done? Like, you know, we've made it to the playoffs with question marks.
Yeah,
So, like, what are we really?
yeah.
So I hope we can find that out this year, bro. Figure out who we are this year.
Let's see. We got more time to talk about them. We got more moves to make. We saw them sign Calais Campbell. I love that move.
I like that move too.
Yeah,
He's older.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
he
But
still
it just
got some
shows you
miles.
that it's playoff win or bust, right? That's where we're at with the Dolphins. Real quick, I wanted to talk about the Heat. I hope that they're moving up right now in the draft. It's a Wednesday night. The NBA draft is happening. The Heat currently have the 15th pick. I'm hoping that we can trade up into the top 10, get another young player, because with a lot of the vibes that are going around Jimmy Butler, dog, I don't know if he's going to last too long down here in a Miami Heat uniform. And truth be told, not that I want him out like that, but if we're going to go the youth route, let's go the youth route, right? Let's try to find a young superstar that we can sign next to Bam, right? We know that Bam's getting a 3-year extension, which he deserves, right? He definitely deserves a most consistent best player that we have on the team.
Yo, $166 million.
For 3 years, yeah.
So that's wild.
It's crazy. But you know what?
That's so
Terry
crazy.
Rozier is making 23 M's this year.
No, I get it, dog. I get it. But, like,
Tyler
you look
Hero's-
at that number,
Tyler
bro.
Hero's
Like,
making 29 M's
that's
this
awesome
year.
for that kid, bro. Like, that kid.
Amazing.
You know what I mean? For having God-given talent and putting in the work.
Yeah.
And combining all that, bro. $166 million. That's
M's.
crazy, bro.
M's.
Crazy.
M's.
That's so much money.
Yeah. It is crazy. It is a lot of money, dog, and they're going to continue to do it, dog. And you know what? That's okay, too. Because at the end of the day, dog, I prefer the other teams to spend money on guys that may necessarily have never proven it and allow the Heat to kind of clean up the after effects of that, you know, by maybe finding a disgruntled guard or superstar or whatever the case may be. But I will tell you this, you know, there are a couple of players that they're looking at. They're looking at that Zach Edey kid, that big, tall, 7-footer, 7'4", defensive guy, not very mobile, not very agile, gets stuck in offense and defense, transition back and forth a lot. They're also looking at Rob Dillingham from Kentucky. He's a kid that I like a lot because he's a lefty, which always causes a problem for other people and other people to guard. But more importantly, I like him a lot because he's a guy who's a point guard first. You know, he likes to pass. He's a guy who's going to set up guys a bunch, and then when it's time for him to hit a couple of threes, he'll hit a couple of threes.
Exactly what we need.
Exactly. And if we're going to go youth, might as well continue to get young players that we can have develop well. Because we've seen Jaquez come in and make an impact. Believe it or not, we've seen Tyler Hero come in and make an impact. We've obviously seen the impact Bam has had on the team. So adding another young piece to this squad is not a bad idea, because I'm tired. No diss to none of the other guys that are getting opportunities. There's no diss to them, but I'm tired of seeing those guys. Yeah. I'd rather see a young guy get the chance that we drafted and be like, all right, young buck, go out there and earn your spot. If you don't make it, awesome, bro. Good try. See you. We're gonna trade you somewhere else. That's where I'm at, man.
Shit.
Yeah, that's where I'm at, bro. That's all I got. Bro.
Well, we gotta make some moves, bro. He ain't gonna get it done with this team.
No, other teams are getting better. Other teams are getting better, and we're not. You know, right now we're very stagnant. We're stuck in that Jimmy Butler situation. We don't know what's gonna happen there.
The Knicks just got a Villanova reunion.
Yep.
And they won a championship together. Now they're looking to.
Yeah, but they're also going to be paying $189 million. They're in that $200 million plus tax apron, you know? So
whatever.
Yeah, but
they got the bread.
I get it, but what I'm saying is that guarantees you a championship.
Not necessarily, but they're setting themselves up. They're making moves to give themselves a better opportunity.
And that's the idea behind it. I don't think the Heat
now the Knicks are a scary team.
I get it, but I don't think that the Heat are in a position right now, right, where they can afford to say, hey, you know what, we're going to go and do the apron thing. Because it's not like we have a LeBron, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade type scenario. For that, you go over the apron, no problem, 100 times, right? No problem. But if it's not that, then maybe not. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm doing that for fucking Randall Brunson and Josh Hart and OG, you know, and now they traded for Mikal Bridges. Like, I'm not sure if I'm going over the tax apron for a team that doesn't have at least 2 of the top 10 players in the NBA.
We'll see, man. Brunson is up there. Brunson's
I
would say Brunson right now is top 10
Maybe he finished the year in the top 10, Joel, but I don't think they have anyone close to the top 10.
I think Bridges can also be another top 20 player, so it's like...
Okay, but what I'm saying is that when you're paying a $200 million tax,
they got a lot of great role players, bro. They're not just bottom of the barrel role players. They're above...
I get it. What I'm saying, Joel, is that the money, the moment you sign those contracts and you put yourself in that tax apron, in my eyes and in all the fans' eyes, it's like, all right, we're going for the championship.
Yeah.
All right.
But the Knicks did well already with that team.
Yeah, like a lot of other teams that probably would have beat the Knicks were injured. Mainly the Bucks, mainly us.
I mean, bro, they did well. They did better than us.
They did very well. They did very well.
Now they took a good core that did well already, and then they just added to it.
Now with
more chemistry and another role. So we'll see, dog.
We'll see.
I just hope that we do something, bro. Like, give us a trade or something, dog. Like, give us something to be excited about.
Give me something.
We're not going to extend Jimmy. Jimmy's only going to finish out his contract.
Yeah.
We got one more year. Like, that's not something to be excited about, you know?
No, it's not. It's not, man. Yeah, I think that's good enough for today, dog. I think that I had to get that Heat stuff off my chest. You know, I really didn't want to talk too much about it, but, you know, it is what it is. The Heat got a special place in my heart for both love and hate.
Let's go Panthers.
You know? But let's go Panthers.
That's all I want to say.
All about the Panthers. We're so happy for those guys, and we're going to congratulate them for the rest of the month. Easily for the next couple of months, we're going to keep giving them shout-outs and keep reposting stuff so that we can relive the moments and the good times over and over again.
We're champs.
Yeah,
we're champs. That's all we can say. We're champs.
And what we need you to do to be a champion is to, number one, leave a 5-star review on the YouTube channel. And then once you do that, you got to tell a friend.
To tell a friend.
To tell one more friend.
To tell everybody they know.
To tell everybody they know about this amazing podcast and what we got going on. Trust me, you guys are not going to want to miss what we got going on in the next couple of weeks. We got some amazing interviews lined up for some of the people that are, number one, important in big organizations, and number two, doing big things and important things down here in Miami, Florida that you guys probably don't know about, but we're going to bring it to you here on Sports with SoSo. Until next time, y'all. Peace.